This video is table 5.9, the medial compartment of the thigh. We're going to start with the pectineus, and then...
Which pectineus is the most easy to identify based on these three things, which you're going to learn later. But we have the femoral nerve, femoral artery, femoral vein. And all these things, really just lateral to that, we have that iliopsoas we just talked about. But just medial to those, we have the pectineus.
So we're going to talk about the pectineus, the adductor longus, and the adductor brevis. All three of these have the same action, which adducts and weakly flexes the thigh at the hip joint. So we'll point out all three of those muscles.
So here's our pectineus again. Right next to him is the adductor longus. Adduct in the name, adduct, so you know it's action by this guy's name. Now the adductor brevis, if I pull apart the pectineus and the adductor longus, we can see the adductor brevis is deep and in between those two muscles. Or if I come from underneath, so I'm gonna have Suzette move the camera, and if I move this guy's penis out of the way, we can see that adductor brevis also hiding underneath the longus from that direction. But from a pinner's view, it's a lot easier to see just separating the pectineus and the longus and having that muscle be deep to the two of those.
The next muscle is the adductor magnus. This adducts the thigh at the hip joint, flexes or extends the thigh at the hip joint, depends on whether it's anterior or posterior being used.
So we can see adductor magnus from the front side, but because of its bulk, and magnus meaning large, big, important, we can actually also see it from the posterior view. So if I come here, here's our hamstrings we're going to learn later, but here's this magnus that we saw from the front side. It's pretty big on the back side too. I'm going to have Suzette zoom out just so you can kind of see it with the butt in comparison. But there's that magnus chilling right there. So you can see it from both views.
And then the gracilis.
So gracilis you can also see posteriorly, and it's indicative by its starting medial and staying medial. So here it's kind of deep from this side. And I'll have her zoom out so you can kind of see how that looks. And then from the front side, it's more anterior, so we can see it really easily. Starting medial on the pubic bone and running down.
The origin of the gracilis is the inferior ramus and body of the pubis. The insertion is the proximal medial surface of tibia via pes anserinus.
So you can see that sartorius and gracilis come together into that pes anserine, so right there.
And then the action is it weakly adducts and weakly flexes the thigh at the hip joint, and it flexes the leg at the knee joint.
So because it crosses into the pubic bone and because it crosses down to the tibia, we have actions involving both the femur and the tibia.
And that is it for table 5.9.